Hello everybody, this is Gregory with Permanent Weight Loss Made Easy, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to do a step-up gradation of Mexican food and what are the better options, healthier options if you're going to eat Mexican food. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website and my books, which might help you because they have hundreds of articles and recipes. Also check out my podcast, The Awakened Man, which is very health related. It's been around since 2017. And also the Cinema Rag, which is on movies and celebrity gossip, which probably has about 180 episodes by now. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. So I do have a series here at Permanent Weight Loss Made Easy, if you're a new subscriber, where I do the do's and do nots of certain cuisines that are very popular. So we have probably 10 of these, like Italian food, Middle Eastern food, Japanese food, American food, just a whole variety. So I thought it'd be good to do kind of like a focus on one of them, because like on the episode we have on Mexican food. Mexican food, for example, has a lot of superfoods. There's a lot of really high quality items, but there's also just complete garbage in Mexican food, especially Tex-Mex, where I'm from in Texas. By the way, I don't work here. It's a free t-shirt. But here in Texas, we don't really eat Mexican food. A lot of Texans go down to Mexico and they're like, where's all the food smothered in chili and cheese and all these things? Like, well, no, we don't eat that. My family's from Mexico. You know, people are really surprised when they go to Mexico and they don't have nachos, stuff like that. But I thought it'd be good to do a specific episode about like various fast food places or restaurants and like what is the step up. What's the worst and what would be probably the ideal? Because we know a lot of people eat out. I did an episode at The Awakened Man about 3 years ago, and this is before COVID, so things have changed. But 50% of men eat out daily. Whether it be for lunch, breakfast, dinner. Many times it's lunch because they're picking something up at the food court in their corporate office or whatever. But it's a lot of people eat out, and of course we know the higher rate of eating out, the higher rate you're going to be obese because you can't really control the ingredients. So going back to Mexican food, I mean, everybody loves Mexican food. You'll find Mexican restaurants in every country in this world, major cities, because people like Mexican food. You're not finding German restaurants in every city, in every corner of the world, because not everybody likes German food. But going back to Mexican food, I mean, guacamole, talk about a superfood. That's amazing. Tastes great, right? Who doesn't like that? So what would be the lowest level Mexican food? Taco Bell, clearly. Taco Bell is something that I still will indulge in here and there, simply because it's cheap and I have a bunch of kids. And I find it funny how like Wendy's and McDonald's and all these, they used to have 99-cent menus, but now they've gone up to like $2.99, $3.99. But somehow Taco Bell hasn't. They still have 99-cent cheesy bean and rice burritos and stuff like that. But obviously the ingredients are crappy. A lot of the food doesn't even come fresh. Like the beans are, for what I understand, come like in dried pellets and they just put water and mix it up. So the ingredients are lacking and it's just junk food, and it's just junk food for college kids. So definitely that would be on the lowest level of Mexican food for sure. And any, variety of it. When I was a kid, we had Del Taco. So any of those like drive-through national franchises, you could say the same thing about hamburgers here. But you really should avoid those. The next level up, I would say, would probably be like down here in Texas, we have something called Taco Cabana. Taco Cabana is a dine-in place, but it's another kind of, I want to say it's a national franchise because you might not have it where you're at. But it's a sit-down place, and they have like a salsa bar in the middle. But again, it's essentially, most of it it used to be good quality food, like 30 years ago, and now it's essentially a glorified, a little better Taco Bell. So the menu's a little better, they have salsas and stuff, but the food itself is really not much better, and I would tell you that that's like in the intermediate tier. Also in the intermediate tier, and really you could put this on a higher tier, would be taquerias. See, taquerias and Mexican restaurants are different. So like down here in Texas, we have Mexican restaurants, and a lot of the Mexican restaurants we have are national franchise chains that you have. And I'm not going to name any, but America is pretty much the same in every major town. Every major town's got a Home Depot and a Lowe's and an Applebee's. There's nothing really interesting about these places. That's why I always recommend that you patronize mom and pop businesses, because these are still businesses that are not run by some gigantic conglomeration. So we have Mexican restaurants, and then you have taquerias. So taquerias are still like Mexican mom and pop places. So down here in Texas, and you can see that anywhere you live where there's a Hispanic population, which is pretty much every state now aside from like New England, you're going to see like Taqueria Aguascalientes number 10 or Taqueria Guadalajara number 14. You know, they're just, you know that they're patronized by Mexicans and they're run by Mexicans. And these restaurants, these taquerias, I would tell you would probably be a better choice for you than going to the standard Chuy's or Escalante's or whatever national Mexican restaurant you have. And the reason is surprisingly, it's not surprising, but it's going to be cheaper food going to a taqueria than to these mega chains. B, the food is I would not say maybe better quality, but it's going to be better prepared because these are mom pop businesses who actually need this food to taste good, as opposed to if you go to certainly Taco Bell, Taco Cabana, these middle restaurants, that most of these foods are made by high school kids who couldn't give a darn about you at all. So I would tell you, overcome your fear of going to like a taqueria where there's actually like Tejano music playing and there's actually Mexican people there. That's how you always know. Like they say that about Asian food. Right? How do you know like a Chinese restaurant's good or a Middle Eastern restaurant, Indian restaurant's good? You see Indian people there instead of just white people. Probably I would tell you that the top level is going to be a place like Chipotle. Now, obviously I don't work for Chipotle or anything like that. The only reason I put Chipotle at the top is because Chipotle is casual dining. Chipotle is pretty easy to find in your town. And Chipotle uses organic ingredients. And this is important. Now, this isn't necessarily important in terms of like your weight loss necessarily, though we've talked about how genetically modified food can affect your weight and how antibiotics that they shoot up in all the poultry and all the cows can make you gain weight because that's their job. You know, they shoot up poultry and pigs and cows and even fish with antibiotics because it makes them fat. They learned this back in the 50s. But the main reason I would tell you is because their food is clean. They have clean ingredients at Chipotle. And the food is pretty good. And the other thing is you can control your ingredients. Whereas suppose if you go to Taco Bell, you really can't say, oh, give me a cheesy bean and rice burrito with no cheese and no rice. There'd be like whatever, the 15-year-old kid that's there, pushing boogers into your burrito before he gives it to you. But at Chipotle, of course, you can control the ingredients. So if you don't want to put sour cream, or if you don't want to put sauteed onions, you can make it as healthy or as unhealthy. So I would tell you, if money's not a problem, money's not an object, Chipotle is the best because you can control the ingredients and everything in there is organic. Guys, I hope this helps. Post in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.